More damaged race cars and more tempers flaring is what I'm looking for as we look at the starting lineup for our main event. Now, Tony Stewart just pulled down pit lane. We'll get an update on that in a minute, but this is the average of the finishes in the first two heat races. So Paul Tracy on the front row with smoke, Marco Andretti and Elio Castroneves also right up front.
It's great to see a bunch of IndyCar guys, open wheel guys running around on dirt for only the second time running up there. Bobby Labonte doing a great job. He was making the bottom of the racetrack work to great effect. And Scott Speed, our ringer there, is going to be starting sixth.
So mentioning again that Kody Swanson, our local all-star, instead of being in the red, white, and blue car, is going to be in the blue test car. So there'll be two blue cars out there. One is Waltrip and one is Swanson. You see him right there. Swanson in the one with no name on the side, Waltrip in the bandaged car from the earlier incident. Here they come. The main event on a Saturday night at Eldora is green.
Paul Tracy getting a great jump on that high line, sends it into turn one. All pretty clean, still two, almost three wide. Stewart back there running up top. He's going to start making work of these guys. So we see them all filing into three now.
Elliott down low in the purple car as Tracy leads lap one. It's Tracy, Castroneves, Andretti, and Scott Speed. Man who's driven everything from Formula One to dirt rallycross. He is the ringer for the night. He has been all smiles since he got here, and right now he's trying to challenge Marco Andretti for third spot.
He also featured heavily in a greite iRacing league over the offseason called the LCQ League that a few of us were in, and he was a ringer in that too and was a little too good. He tries to work the high line on Marco Andretti here, but I talked to Scott after first practice and said, you've done some stock car racing, that must set you up pretty nicely for this. You ran the trucks here at Eldora on the dirt. He said, no, what set me up for this was my time in rallycross, driving on dirt, learning to drive a car off the right rear, door to door with Marco Andretti. We saw this in the heat. So it's actually his rally racing experience that's given Scott a little bit of an edge and a leg up here in these SRX cars.
It's around Andretti for third spot. Now Bobby Labonte in the teal car to run to the outside of Marco. Marco, when he leaves here tonight, will jump on a plane and go to Watkins Glen, New York, where he and his cousin Jarrett will team up in an IMSA sports car race on the road course tomorrow. He'll jump in that car for the first time at Watkins Glen tomorrow morning.
In the 20-minute warm-up, that's all he's going to have before he gets in that car. That qualified second at the hands of his cousin Oliver Askew, driving in that series as well. He's got 5 hours of sleep, he reckons, before a 6-hour race. So it's going to be a long afternoon for young Marco. As he goes door to door with Labonte there, a little bit of bumping and banging. All comes out okay, though. So far, it's been pretty clean for the start of this race, and Paul's just kind of been able to extend a nice lead out there up front. When he's all by himself, there's nothing to hit. He's going fast. It's great.
Talk to Paul about why race an SRX as you watch PT at work. He said the end of his IndyCar career was less than satisfying. He was in equipment that wasn't competitive to win, and then there was the race at Las Vegas where Dan Weldon was killed, and Paul's family got together with him after that, and he decided to stop driving.
You can only do that if you've got a boatload of talent and a lot of desire. He's always been a great racer, and great racing is what we're seeing down here for second place now with Elio and Scott Speed. But now Paul's thrilled to be here, and he's been a fun addition to the series for sure.
I'm saying, wow, that's impressive, and then I thought, but wait a minute. This is the superstar racing experience. All of these guys are so accomplished, I shouldn't be surprised as the caution comes out at lap 16 of 50. So we saw a lot of damage to the race cars in the heats earlier. They're not the only ones taking a hit. There's
literally some stuff, some debris flying around out there. Might be bits coming off other cars. Might just be a nice hefty chunk of clay. Who knows? But
Castroneves to his outside, green flag, and here we go again.
A little bit of contact, but they both kept it off the wall, kept it pointed straight, 3 wide behind them. Paul Tracy really using up Elio. He wants that spot. Look, it looks like he's turning right into him. When he
down low, Scott Speed, 3 wide, Castroneves with the bump on Tracy.
I'll tell you what, that was not accidental. That was absolutely Elio just telling Paul he knows what he did and he's willing to give it back. Great run. Oh, Elio had to bail out of a good run there on the outside of Scott Speed. That let Bobby Labonte get a run, but Elio closed the door. This is great stuff. Loving what I'm seeing here at the start of this thing.
Talked about how calm the main event had been compared to some of the heats? Well, that was until that restart.
I also talked about how Paul was great out front when there was nothing to hit, and then all of a sudden we had cars around and nothing but contact. But he is back out front after that little bit of a jab back. Nice return hit there from Elio. Not enough to turn him around, but enough to let him know he was there. Just look at that, bouncing off each other. Ray Abraham's just cringing as he's watching these replays. Stop damaging my car.
It's a good thing the drive to Indianapolis is short. Tony Stewart, remember, started last, and he has worked his way up now to be racing for 4th place in our main event, and we're not quite to halfway.
Marco is trying to hold the outside. Way high. Has to back out of the throttle. That gives Kody Swanson a chance to dive down the inside and try the slider. Marco going to make it 3. Oh boy, here we go.
That's fun.
This is too much fun. This is too much fun to watch. You can only imagine how fun it is to be in as the yellow flag flies for Tony Kanaan.
So, didn't want to distract your attention from that, but while that was going on at the front, Tony Kanaan and Ernie Francis Jr. got together at the back.
Oh, did they find each other?
They might have found each other, about 4 times.
Well, let's take a look from Tony Kanaan's car. And you can hear the contact there, so it looks like, oh dear.
There he is.
Francis Jr. got him once again. That is going to be one very fired up TK.
27 laps of green flag racing left in our main event.
Pretty good start from Scott Speed there. He kind of squared off that corner coming off of 4 to get a better run, but Paul still had that momentum going into turn 1 and was able to pull ahead, take the lead. Kody Swanson settling in there, and my man Smoke, Tony Stewart, running there in 4th. Those drone shots are just incredible.
Just kind of waiting to see who hits who next. There's Bobby Labonte in the teal car underneath Marco Andretti. Both of them trying to use the bottom lane. Bobby has to back out. How about Kody Swanson starting this main event in a backup car?
In a backup car after running a bunch of hot laps and qualifying in a Silver Crown car earlier this evening. A race he's going to be doing a little bit after this race here. This is going to be a very busy night for Kody Swanson.
Matt has more on the driver from California.
Like the rest of the drivers, Alan, they all got hot laps in practice trying to learn this car. For Kody Swanson, he last competed Eldora back in September of 2019. He says the biggest issue for him was trying to build trust in this car. He's got that blue car out front.
Paul Tracy had a big run at him into turn 1, but couldn't hold the bottom line. So Kody Swanson
in that blue car in front of
goes to the lead. Paul Tracy's second, being challenged there by Scott Speed. There's Speed and Tracy. Then behind them, you've got Marco Andretti, Bobby Labonte, and Tony Stewart mixed up in a race for what would be 4th position. As the caution comes out for Travis Pastrana's Nitro Rallycross Series. Scott broke his back in 2019 leading that championship and was basically out of racing. And the Rallycross season starts this fall, so he hasn't done a whole lot of racing, but he's wheeling it tonight here at Eldora on Superstar Saturday night. Paul Tracy chasing Kody Swanson, the leader, with 17 to go. Paul Tracy to his outside, Scott Speed, Marco Andretti in row 2, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart in row 3, and the green flag waving right now.
Paul got a great jump. Interesting that Kody decided to take the inside line, knowing that Paul's really been liking the high line. It almost would have been interesting to see him.
Tony Stewart 3 wide on the outside off turn number 2, trying to make a quick move, and he does it.
Oh boy, that is a great move there. Really capitalizing on these restarts to try and get up there. Started last, cleared both Scott Speed and Marco Andretti in that move. Great run into the top 3 here. Paul's not done yet though. He's going to keep trying to work that high line. You can see Kody just spinning the wheels down there on the front straight, leaving big dirt tracks, trying to get the power down for these very powerful SRX cars. Like I said, you never even come close to full throttle as Tony Stewart's running that high line, trying to hang on to 3rd, 3 wide down there in turn 3 and 4.
Crossover move from Smoke.
Oh, that was beautiful. Great run up high off of 4, had the momentum, cut below Paul Tracy and slid it all the way in there, and that was brilliant.
Well, he talked about, for Kody Swanson, what a thrill it would be to meet Tony Stewart, get invited to race with him. Well, now he's literally going to race him for the win, it looks like. Caution flag is out. Kody Swanson inside of Tony Stewart. Bobby Labonte inside of Paul Tracy. Rides the rim, but he can't quite clear Swanson yet. 7 to go.
It's a good battle all the way through. 2 wide almost the whole way through the field now. Tony making that top work. Kody kind of having to finally give up that spot. It's properly clear as Bobby Labonte still fending off Paul Tracy down there on the low line. Tony Stewart carries on that wider line up top is just too much for Kody right now.
So Swanson gonna move up, contact, Bobby Labonte, Paul Tracy. Labonte's around and is contacted there twice. In turn 2, yellow flag is out.
That is quite a mess, guys. Paul Tracy just gets to him and gets into him. It's not much to say there. That one sort of speaks for itself. Paul just got right into the back of Bobby Labonte and spun him. Was maybe trying to get underneath him, but just misjudged it, and unfortunately that's the way that goes.
I think he thought he was going to be able to do that crossover underneath like Tony did, but Bobby was kind of heading toward that lower lane, and the hole wasn't there. And then Marco Andretti with no place to go.
It was a little bit of a glancing blow there for Marco, so the body work looks like it took a big hit, but hopefully there's no damages other than that underneath. You can hear there, you can see it on board with Bobby Labonte. There's nothing he can do there. You can see once the car goes around, the dust that kicks up, the drivers are almost blinded. It's very difficult to know where to go, as we said earlier.
So Tony Stewart chooses the outside lane. Kody Swanson is to his inside, the local all-star. Then it's Marco Andretti and Scott Speed in row number 2. Green flag.
Great jump from Kody Swanson there.
Helio Castroneves 3 wide down at the bottom, looking to move forward, while up front Swanson clears Stewart for the lead for now.
And it is busy back there. Marco Andretti sliding a little bit high on the back of Scott Speed's bumper. Tony Stewart now trying to make that work on the high side. It's great seeing these guys run different lines, prefer different lines. We see Francis Jr. very sideways, and Tony's got a great run off of 2.
There is no question from watching the reaction of the grandstand out the window in front of us. He is the fan favorite. Here they come to the stripe. 3 laps to go. Stewart clears Swanson. Castroneves and Speed for second with Andretti right there.
I love this. Swanson's now decided to go try to work that high line, and he got right up to his bumper. That was the best run off of 2 he's had. He's going to try to slide it up here now, all the way to the bottom. Tony's coming back high, side by side at the line. 2 to go.
Stewart hangs on for now. They will come to the white flag and start the last lap next time by.
Bit crossed up from Kody coming off of 2, nowhere near as close into 3 this time. Doesn't mean he's not still going to try something here.
White flag, final lap at Eldora. Stewart hanging on, but Swanson trying to find some running room. Castroneves and Speed for 3rd as well. Here they go, turn number 2, last time. One last set of quarters to try it. Swanson low, Stewart high. Checkered flag. Who's the winner? Tony Stewart wins at Eldora.
And look at that, guys. What a finish. Kody Swanson just coming up short.
Let's give you another look at the results tonight. Of course, Tony Stewart getting the win at his house at Eldora. Kody Swanson holding on a fight right there. Stewart leading the way. Look at Ernie Francis Jr. there. Tony Kanaan behind him, and Bobby Labonte in 6th.